All right, so before we get into this, look, don't email us, don't call us. In some states in the United States of America, cannabis is legal.
Illinois is one of them.
Illinois is one of them.
And that's where I was this weekend.
That's where Abby was. All right. We are not endorsing it. We are just saying that there are some states where it's legal. So we are talking about nothing illegal, or we're not endorsing anything.
What is funny is Bert, myself, and Mo, we were in Chicago last year, and we were unaware that it was legal until we walked out into the streets. And we were like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
This city smells good.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it smells like California and Atlanta.
Yeah, so at the age of 26, I've never done the pot. I've never smoked the weeds. And so I thought, because I don't want to do anything illegal. Because it's one thing to like try something, but I'm very much like a rule follower. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to Chicago. I've never been to Chicago. Weed happens to be legal there. It'd be a really fun time to like try it. I'm going to a Taylor Swift concert. That'd be a fun place to be a little high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so I'm very type A, so of course I had to go in with a plan. And so I'm like, you know what?
You need weed.
Literally. And so I don't know anything about weed, so I'm walking around the city thinking, we're just going to stumble across a dispensary and I'll just like stroll in. So we're walking around Chicago, and like 2 hours goes by, and I haven't seen a single weed store. And so
it's weird because some cities you go in and they're very like, they're promoting it. Like it's a big old sign and they all have the signs out front and it's the same sign. And there are other cities you go to where you could walk right by a shop and you would never even know it.
Yeah, not in Chicago. It was very low key. So then I started looking like I had a drug problem because I'm going up to people like, where are the drugs? Where's the weed? Where can I get some weed? And so I ended up putting something in.
They hand you a bag full of basil. Here you go.
This girl, I love this. So I ended up putting like a dispensary in Google Maps or something, and it takes us all the way across town to this area called River North. It's beautiful, gorgeous, right on the river in Chicago. And again, you can walk right by and it doesn't look like anything special. It's a very clinical building, and you walk in and the first thing you see is like a line, and it takes you straight to a desk where there's like a police officer and an attendant. It's very intense. And so I walk up feeling really nervous. I'm like, I would like a singular weed, please.
Singular?
Singular weed.
Just a singular weed.
I was like, is this where I was like,
One, please.
I was like, is this where I ask for it? Like, I'll take a number 5 combo. And there's like, ma'am, give us your ID. Although I'm pretty sure that not the police officer, but the guy behind the table was like stoned out of his mind.
Oh, yeah. You'll never find nicer people than the ones that work in those dispensaries. It is the kindest place you will ever be.
I could have passed him like a piece of paper and he would have been like, this looks legit.
So they're probably, of course, they're going to check your ID, make sure like you don't have any warrants out for your arrest or blah, 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 blah. Make sure you're clean.
So I go in, give them my ID. They give me like a slip of paper, and then you walk into a second room. And I don't know what I was expecting when it came to dispensaries. I thought I could like browse and like smell the different weed.
But you know one from the other anyway?
No. I wanted to like shop. I don't know.
It's not a Nordstrom.
Wait, right? I didn't think you were in Saks. What's going on?
It's not Saks off weed.
And so there's like another line. So it's a room with a second line, and there's nothing for me to look at. So I'm like, what do I do? Like I'm so lost and out of my element. Thank goodness there was a woman there who saw how stressed out I was. She was like, we need to get you some weed. I'm like, yes, thank you. So I'm talking to her about what I'm looking for. I'm like, I want to do an edible because I think that's probably the easiest way for me to not like overdose. Can you overdose on weed? I don't know.
You got to try.
You gotta go crazy.
And so she can tell that I'm like really freaking out because she's like, well, what kind do you want? I'm like, there's different kinds. She's like, yeah, do you want like sativa or Splenda?
Splenda or sativa.
I'm like, what's the difference? And she's like, well, one will make you happy and the other will make you paranoid. I'm like, I want the happy one.
No, that's not true.
That's literally
Not
how.
exactly.
And she was like, one's like a body high and one will make you happy. I'm like, well, of course I want the happy one. So I think that was like
Sativa.
stevia. So I get that one. And she's also like, why don't we get you something with some CBD in it too? And so I got like these melon gummies that were like half THC, half CBD. And then she gives me another slip of paper. And then you got to go up to the line. And then turns out you need to pay it with cash. So it really did feel like a drug deal. I was like, here's my little wad of cash.
Are you sure it just wasn't somebody's apartment? I've never had to pay for it with cash.
Now you got to do that in Denver too.
Oh, you do really?
Yeah.
It's
Why?
like you can't do it with a credit card.
I don't know why. I never asked, but yeah, it's always been like that. They won't let you use a card at all.
Is that why you can't buy a lottery ticket with a card? You have to use cash?
Maybe.
Well, in California, they'll take anything. They'll trade home goods.
So then we get brunch afterwards, and I'm one of those people that, like, after I have a meal, I get a little snacky, like I suffer from needing something sweet, and then those gummies started looking real good, and I was like, oh, I know I shouldn't, but then I started, like, microdosing because I wanted something sweet. So this is like 1 p.m., and then we get back to the apartment, we're getting ready for the concert, and my friends are freaking out because none of us have ever smoked pot before. They're like, you can't take too much. You're going to ruin the Taylor Swift concert. And so then I pop a gummy. I wait an hour. Nothing happens. And I'm like, well, this is lame. And so I'm like, I'm going to take another one. My friends are like,
All right, Rookie, how'd that go?
Yeah.
very well. Because then my friends go, do not take another one. Because anytime I hear people talk about edibles, they do that. They're like, you can only take a half of one. So I'm like, okay.
You waited a whole hour.
I waited a whole hour. Nothing. I didn't even want Doritos. I got myself a bag of Doritos expecting the munchies. Nothing. I pop another gummy. Nothing. An hour.
Wow.
Now I have like 10 milligrams in my system and I'm just cruising. And at this point I'm thinking, did the weed just make me feel like a normal person? Like, is my anxiety so high that this just brought me to like base level? And so then my friends started taking them to see if it was just me. It's just me. I think weed might be a scam. Like, I'm not, like, it did nothing for me. Because my friends were like, yeah, we feel great.
Wow, that sounds like a challenge.
There are some people.
I can find you some.
Yeah.
I know for me, it hits way later. Like it was CBD oil and I felt nothing for 8 hours. And then I was out of my mind. I could not I kept forgetting that like I was in my house. It was so bad. So maybe it just hit later and you were asleep?
No, because I was at the Taylor Swift concert. I was up till 2 a.m. And I was like,
nothing?
And you were unfazed?
Unfazed. I was even a little anxious. I was like,
Anxious that your weed wasn't working?
I know. I was like, why is this not working for me? Is there something wrong with me?
It gives me anxiety when I do weed. I can't do it.
Really?
Yeah, it gives me anxiety. I hate doing it. So
Yeah.
maybe that sucks. I'm sorry.
I think you need to send your receipt to Chicago. 'Cause I want my money back.
I know. It did nothing for me.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched? Well, you can get way more of The Bert Show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.